Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Yep, just checking out some history. I got something in the mail. This guy from Old Timer. Kind of knife I've never had before. Always wondered about it, and I saw this guy and it's pretty cool. Probably the best one I've seen. Let's check it out. So this is what I'm talking about. And this is from Old Timer, like I said, and you all know that they're owned by Schrade now. This one is the Old Timer 735 OT Mariner. Yeah, it's a mariner's knife. Got a lot of history behind it. It's pretty cool. Let me show it to you here. Oh, I like their boxes. I really like their boxes. Unfortunately, got a little destroyed me opening it up. Got a little bit too excited about it. So here's the knife here. See that? I love these badges. Let me get that a focus for you. See that? I love this style. And I really like these, the brass badge. Very nice. Like I said, this is the 735 Mariner. They're unusual because of this guy, Marlin spike. And it's very distinctive. When you see one like this, you know right away it's a Marlin spike knife. But this one just looks so cool. Why? I wanted to know what this is. Is this a bail? Look at that. I thought, it's the only one I've seen with a bail. But now that I got it here, it actually says something on there. And if you look here, it says, press down, release the spike. That's, I'm losing my voice. I just did a voiceover on a video and losing my voice, sorry. I thought that's pretty cool because, you got to, the spike opened. It's not locked at all until I try to close it. That locks it. And that's what this is for. You press down on that and it releases the Marlin spike. Very cool. And it looks very cool. Look at these guys. It's got that sawtooth scales on it. I love that. Although it's not real, they look pretty cool. Very distinctive, the old timers. They all look like this, the old style. Very traditional. That's what I like about it. Well built. They solid. They feel solid. That's what I liked about it. That last one I got me hooked on them again because the feel of it, the look of it, very traditional. And these guys, these mariners, they got a lot of history. Let's have a look at that. So really the history of these is, way back. Anytime, when sailing ships came about, any boat out there that had sails had ropes. Well, you had to deal with those ropes, and some of them were huge, especially in like the 18th century going, the early 18th century during the Napoleon Wars with the British Empire, their huge sailing fleet that they had, controlling the whole world with it, fighting Napoleon and his navy. And of course then the American Navy, which was just up and coming then, got into it as well. And they had these huge warships, a lot of sails on them and a lot of rope to go with it. So all the sailors carried this. Well, what's the big deal about this? And it's this guy here, the Marlin spike. When you deal, here's the boss inspecting everything. Did you knock that off? You knocked that off, didn't you? Oh, Lord. What am I going to do with you? You have been a terror today. Messing up my whole man cave here. He's just been going crazy. They had, every mariner, like I said, carried one because they dealt with rope all the time. Big rope, small rope, you name it, rope. I could use some right now for the boss. Don't know what the deal is today. Man. Anyway, they would be using these things to deal with all those ropes. like I said, they were small rope right through to 10-inch ropes that they had to anchor the ships down, to tie them to the wharfs and that sort of thing. These were big ships with sails and everything that they had to hold the masts up, take all that strain, big rope, and they'd have to deal with the knots on the rope. The wind blowing into the sail would tighten the rope so much they'd have a knot that they needed to release. They couldn't do it with their hands, so they would use a marlin spike. They'd push it in and use it to basically force it apart using the marlin spike. And that's why it's locked. It needed to be really solid in there so that when they're prying like that, it's not going to be flopping everywhere and get their hand stuck in there. So, that was one reason. The ropes would break during a storm and they'd have to repair them. They would use this to fray the ends and then re-tie them together, intertwining them back into a rope. They had all sorts of uses for these things, and every mariner carried one. And of course, you got this spike on it. Well, in desperate times, you had a weapon. They were handy for them to have, and of course it had a blade on it. This one, I've got to press to release this thing, actually has a sheep's foot on it. See that? Very nice. Very nice blade, actually. Feels really sharp. This is a handy blade for them. It's really an all-round EDC for a mariner. It's got a nice little point on it. It's got that downward shape there so they can get into corners with it, and a nice flat edge that they could easily sharpen, perfect for just about any use that they needed. And they would use these to eat with. They would carry them on all this pod, that's what they did. So a lot of history came along with this, way back to the first boats that floated around that had ropes on them. So they've been around a while. And of course, I've always been interested in why the marlin spike, why the design like this. And when I saw this guy, after looking at that last old time, I was like, this is the one I'm going to get, because why? It's pretty cool. Plus it has this thing on it. Sharp and shiny, pokey, and it's got a little floppy thing on it. Can't beat that. I'm easily impressed. And of course, well made. That sawtooth scale on it, nice badges. The bolsters are heavy duty, especially this one. Look at it. It's solid, and of course you need that to support your marlin spike. They have the pins. You can see the pins, they always have them stick out, the same as on the other one. It's not a problem because they've been nicely rounded off. There's no sharp edges to the pins, and it feels really good in your hand, even with that marlin spike. In fact, I would say the marlin spike makes it feel more comfortable. Big curved body on it. Solid steel, so it adds a lot of weight to it. Well made, no gaps, sits in there nicely. How does that blade sit in there? The blade doesn't lock, by the way, typical for a traditional knife. The nice thing that Old Timer does is, look at that. It doesn't slap down on you until the very last moment. Right there, it snaps closed. So it's a fairly safe blade, within reason, because it doesn't lock, but the spike does. You've got your brass liners on it. You can see them there. You get that for you. No gaps anywhere. The blade sits in there dead straight, and it's a healthy blade. Look how thick that blade is. A lot of mariners love to carve, to whittle. There's wood everywhere, so they would whittle or carve their name in the side of the ship or on one of the main mast or something like that. They use their knife for everything. Well designed for their use. And it's, this day and age, unless you have a sailing boat or a fishing boat with sails, this is not that handy, although you will have a rope because, you've got to tie up to the dock and that sort of thing. So very nice. I really like this. This is a very nice knife. Let's have a look at some of the specs on it. Like I said, this is the Old Timer 735 OT Mariner. First of all, like I said, the first thing you'll notice, it's got some weight to it. Putting this in your pocket, Well, certainly for me, it's a little heavy. This is solid steel. By the way, the steel is stainless and it's 7CR17 MOV. The total weight on this thing, and by the way, the blade is the same. The total weight on this, I believe, is 4 point something ounce, 4.47 ounces, I think it is. Length, closed, you're looking at, I'm going to say 4 1/8. So bolster to bolster, 4 1/8. Sheep's foot blade, you're looking at 6 7/8 from the tip to the bolster here, 6 7/8. It's a fairly healthy knife. I mean, it's not a small little thing. And then, of course, with your marlin spike open, 7 1/4 inches from the tip of the marlin spike to the bolster at the back. The actual marlin spike, 3 1/4 inches to the bolster, really to what I would consider to be the working edge, which is where that little shoulder is, 3 inches. And it's got that curve to it. The sheep's foot, from the tip of the sheep's foot to the choil is 2 1/2 inches. So from there right to that choil, and that's a pretty healthy choil. Once again, and I don't know why they don't ever think about taking care of it, the scales are a little sharp. So, I think I showed you on the last one, I just get some sandpaper and just go over it lightly just to take the edge off. And it just makes a little bit, you don't get any hot spots from those sharp corners. An easy fix, it's not a problem. Is it sharp? Shall we give it a go? Wow. Oh, yeah, it's sharp. Wow. And I think it goes well with my last one. Let me grab that for you. And here it is here. This is the one that I showed you before. It's that trapper. And yeah, what? It's just a trapper. Yeah, but it had some cool stuff on it that I really liked. And that was these little things on the ends here. And of course it had the tweezer in it. I modified the tweezers. I mean, you saw that video. The reason I got this, I have one or two trappers, but only because I didn't have one. This one I got because it was cool. Once again, same as this. And, you look at these two, the spay blade, and, you look at these two, look at that. Beautiful knives, very distinctive. Somebody pulls out a knife like this, you go, old timer. Granddad had 40 of them. They were very popular back in the day. Everybody carried an old timer, and they come with a pretty solid warranty. I know they're owned by Schrade now. It's made in China. Still, I'm looking at this, and it's pretty good quality. It's very solid. It's clean. It's well made. There's no gaps anywhere. Very solid. I really like these. And I know there's one more I'm going to get. The one that goes with this guy. It's a little bit different, and it's got little gizmos on it. So, that'll be my 3 that I'll get for old timer. Certainly. That's why I like a good traditional knife. Not only are they cool looking, they have the history behind them, and that's what gets me every time. And this guy goes way back with a lot of history. How much did I pay for it? That much. I'm not going to break the bank with that. And considering what it comes with and how much metal you're holding in your hand, that's not bad. Very cool. I really like these two knives. I'm very impressed with. So there we are. Very nice. Pokey, shiny, and sharp. Look at that. Very nice. This thing just amuses me, if anything. You could use it as a bail or to release the marlin spike. Very cool. Very cool. What do? You buy it because it's sharp and shiny. You will be safe out there, especially with these guys. Not only is it sharp and shiny, you got a pokey thing on the other side. More to be careful of. So just be careful out there. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. I know I'm going to be back because I'm going to get another one of these. I went on a walkabout. I've been doing some mods, optional stuff, just a lot of odds and ends I've been doing, catching up. I've been really behind and I'm trying to catch up. So I can see me going to the dice again and throwing that stuff because I'm getting that way again. Not good. Thanks for watching. It's always appreciated. See you again soon.